Today is Friday, April 5, 2024, 10 minutes, 11 minutes after 8 o'clock. And there are a number of levels on the SPY chart, and they're pretty spread out. Not likely that the spiders will hit many of these levels. They're currently below 515. They were up there. Now it's 514.73. But yesterday, bear in mind, they fell over 100 S&P handles, 111 points or so. And anything can happen. They could follow through. The bears could keep pushing price down. The bulls could stage a comeback. There could be sharp moves, but typically on Friday, they're not because volume tends to dry up and it's usually slower. But just an awareness that, like before, just bear in mind that these levels could not provide the kind of reaction you need, or multiple levels could get. Not as likely this time because they're so spread out. But anyway, reduced position sizes is kind of the key. That's what I will be doing. Incidentally, I will be at the office, and it's not likely I will record the trades or any trades that happen, at least in the morning, because I don't have the same screen set up. So I will be cycling through my analysis screens, and it doesn't make sense to record that. I just want a nice clean recording, so we can talk through it. Also at 8:30, if I haven't mentioned this yet, it looks like there's going to be some data release announcements that could move the market. So where they open could be different from where they are now. Just an awareness of what's going to happen in the pre-market. But after the market closes, per usual, we will take a look at all the trades taken in the E-mini futures based off of these levels. See you then. Okay, it's 6:15, and here's the aftermath. Looks pretty flat, but there was actually about a 60-point S&P point move today from low to high. So let's expand this out so we can get a closer view. And there was one official trade at 518.32. The operating level, the trigger was 518.27. So this was recorded, but I'm not going to share the recording. It was pretty much a mess. At the office, I had a laptop, a trading computer for that reason, for that scenario, without all my other monitors and screens. So I'm just cycling through multiple screens on that computer as I'm analyzing things, because I got out of the money. I was in the red pretty deep, and I was analyzing a lot of things, and there's more of that in the recording than there is of the actual trading screen. So not really relevant, so I'll just talk through this. So when they got up to 518 or close to 518.27 the first time, it was not close enough to call this a near miss, and enough time had elapsed that I was willing to go short again, but unfortunately, it just went right through and was out of the money. So it didn't work the second time around, but I held on to it. In fact, I even identified another number higher up, because this next level was 523.85, and I've been way out of the money at this point. I would have hit my maximum loss limit, so I found another level. It happened to be 520.40. I'll just put the line on here to show you where that was, 520.40, and I will show you where that level came from. But so instead of reversing, there was a trigger, or the traditional tool, or not tool, what am I trying to say here? Trigger for a fumble and a reversal, but I held on to it, gave it more time, more leash, because there were so many things up here that indicated that there could be a pretty good rollover. This was going to be good resistance. That's why one of the reasons I was looking for another area to sell. I was willing to sell again and average in. So I did. So my average position, when it came back down, was able to get a base hit on that combined position. Now, if you didn't have this number, like anybody this morning who received the levels didn't have that number, and if you did happen to sell here, you would have hit the fumble threshold. You would have reversed. You would have got a base hit on the reversal. This would not have been a factor if you didn't know what you were looking for. So you wouldn't have sold again. But when it came back down into this level, it's good for recycle. And that recycle would have worked. Yes, it came out of the money, but not enough time elapsed for it to be fumbled again, and lose it the second time around. In fact, that just worked out pretty well. I didn't take this trade. Once this was done and I was able to get back in the money, I was just happy to walk away with that base hit on my two contracts. So let me show you where that 520.40 came from. So you remember the daily chart we've been looking at, and they've been kind of constrained between this channel here. Well, they fell way below that yesterday, of course, and yet today, as they were coming back up into it, they were passing through some important levels, and I thought there's going to be some destination here. And when I was looking at this, it's just an eyeball on this point. I thought, well, if they get back up to the underside of this channel, it's going to be around 520, 40, 45 or so. When you drill down to the smaller time frames, it's pretty easy. It's easier to kind of narrow down a spot. So 520.40 is what I went with, and it worked out pretty well. They only went 4 pennies above that and pulled back. So that's how I got my other level, and was able to get the base hit by holding on to it for quite a while, actually. So on the tracking log, we're going to show what would have happened if you traded the level. You went short and would have got a fumble after almost 14 points, 13.75 points. You would have reversed. You would have got a little bit of point, base hit, 4 points on the reversal, and then when they came back down, you could have recycled that level again for another base hit. Not exactly what I did, but this is where you would have ended at the end of the day based on the number of E-mini contracts traded. I averaged in, was way out of the money, but it worked out. When they finally met some resistance, enough to resistance to push price down, I was able to get a base hit on the combined position with just my one contract. So that's what the day looked like for me. So I hope you found this interesting, pretty interesting day. Definitely the week with yesterday and everything. So it'll be cool to see what happens next week. We will be back on Monday to do it all over again. Thanks for watching, liking, and subscribing. Have a great day and weekend.